Hi there.
Well, hello, motherfucker.
Did you know the impression I was doing or trying to do?
Hi
Hi.
there.
You've heard it.
Yes, I'm
You just
trying
got
to
to
think
think
where
of it.
to. What's it from?
Welcome back, Kotter.
Ah, yes. Love Welcome Back, Kotter.
It was what was his name? The Washington or something like
Yeah,
that.
Washington. Yeah. Hi
Hi.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't as deep as him, but
yeah, yeah. He was the Joey Tribbiani of the 70s.
yeah. That was a good show.
His how you doing is hi there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So you had Hi there, then you had the well, Epstein's kind of that name nowadays is
yeah,
you don't ever think of him. I think before that, you would have thought of that guy. He always had a note
yeah.
from his mom, which wasn't from his mom.
Right.
And then you had Horshack, the ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And then who
It's a
was it?
kata.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Got there. Uh, and then was there anybody else?
Yeah.
Washington, Epstein, Horshack, and who else?
Vinny Barbarino, man.
Oh yeah,
Travolta.
yeah. Hey, Mr. K, yeah, the Mr. Got there, that guy. But was this those
Ooh.
Was it who else? Was there anybody else? Or was that it?
Those were like the main ones.
There was other students, but yeah, those
Those
were
were the,
like
the main sweat hogs.
yeah, the sweat hogs, that's right.
I
What an
have the whole
interesting.
series
Do you?
on my Fandango, yeah.
Nice. Did did you ever watch Mork and Mindy?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mork from what was it? Mork from Ork or something like
Yeah,
that?
Mork from work. Yep.
Yeah. And he showed up in the egg.
Yep.
So, not to well, we're kind of doing a mash of Whatcha Watchin and Conspiracy Corner, but those
Mhm.
all those like orbs that people see, the UFO things, they look
Yeah.
like eggs. And I'm wondering if the Mork people knew something early, when they thought, hey, let's he's going to be from another planet. So he's an alien essentially.
Yep.
And he's going to show up in an egg. And so I watched this interview with this guy who he was on the recovery, like I don't know what you call it, an asset recovery. There's like a name for this group that does this shit, but and it's not just UFO stuff. They like anything military, like whatever. But one of the things he recovered was a fucking egg, like this giant egg, and it's like a UFO or some shit. And all he does is in a helicopter is he goes and he picks it up from one location and he took it to another location. It's like anyways, it's something we'll talk about at some point in the conspiracy corner. Probably
Nice.
a deeper dive one because it's a longer conversation. But
Yeah.
I always wondered, like, after hearing that interview, if there was a connection with the Mork and Mindy people. Like, did they know back in the what 70s,
Yeah, I think it was.
something like that, or early
That was,
80s, maybe?
that was in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, early 80s or
You ever
mid
see the
80s.
episode where he met Robin Williams?
Huh?
Did you ever see the episode where Mork met Robin Williams?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
They did that?
Yeah.
How the fuck did they do that?
Uh Creatively. But yeah, they did that.
Where like it's like they would cut from the over the shoulder, so all you
Yeah.
see is like
Yeah.
the hair, but you don't actually. It's a stand-in, and then when they take from the other way, it's Robin Williams
Yeah.
or Mork or whoever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that creative. It's just,
No, there was, if I remember, I mean, it's been a long, long time, obviously, but I thought there was a scene where they're actually on stage together. I don't know. I don't remember how the fuck they did that.
well, don't they overlay it? Like, So they would film it with like if I'm standing there and I'm talking to nobody, and then I go stand in the position that of the person I was talking to,
Yeah, yeah,
and now I'm talking to nobody the other direction, and then you just edit it, you overlay it and edit it so that
right. Yeah, but
response.
weren't they, didn't they film that over in front of a live studio and audience?
No idea, dude.
I don't remember. But
That show it might have been. I'd have to watch it. I'm sure it's super
yeah.
corny. Like
Oh
watching it
yeah.
now,
I wonder
but
if I can buy that on Vudu.
I would assume so. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Well, I was just able to buy Welcome Back, Kotter like a month ago.
Hmm, interesting.
Oh, and the weird thing about Welcome Back, Kotter is they released it out of order.
Why?
I don't know, like
Like the
episode.
last season first?
No, 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 no. Like when you watch like this first season, like if you look at it, it's like episode one, whatever, episode two, whatever, and then episode three is the pilot.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird. Yeah, I don't understand. Like it's very strange.
Huh. I don't know.
I don't know,
All
but
right. Well,
good
words?
shit. I wish I could buy You Can't Do That on Television as a fucking TV
Oh, dude,
series.
that show was so weird as a kid.
Hmm.
Is it not available?
I don't know. I never looked.
So I swear I saw it in Walmart to like buy on Blu-ray or DVD at one point.
Really?
Um, I swear because I found like Hey Dude. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Hey Dude. I found a bunch of these one time. It was at the Walmart I used to live by, up by you,
Yep.
and I found a bunch of these, and I swear I saw you can't do that on television as an option. But because that show was so weird, I was like, it kind of creeped me out as a kid. I don't know why, but it did. It kind of, you know what it had? It had those vibes of the original Willy Wonka, where
Yeah.
like when you watch
Yeah.
it as an adult, it's not scary at all, but as a kid, there's something creepy about it. And that show had something creepy about it. I don't know if it was just the I don't know. I really don't know because it really is not a scary show at all. But he
So
was just that.
I can't buy Mork and Mindy, and they don't have You Can't Do That on television either.
Look on Amazon, see if you can like if they have them available as like a Blu-ray set or something. But then we'll jump into words here.
So they don't have Mork and Mindy.
No?
Uh,
Wonder if they just haven't digitized them. I swear I've seen
Oh
Mork and
wait, there it
Mindy
is. Yep,
as a
a
box
complete
set.
series. Yep, you can buy it on DVD for 27 bucks.
So just DVD, not Blu-ray.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's Mork and Mindy. That's actually pretty cheap, 26.99. I'm gonna research it because I put and, but it's the and sign. So and then you can't. Oops. God damn it. Sometimes Amazon pisses me off. You can't do that on television DVD. You can't buy it,
You
but
can't buy that on TV.
no, but you can watch it on Prime Video for 2.99 to rent an episode.
So if they let you rent an episode, why can't you rent the whole series?
Well, you probably can rent the whole series, but
Or like
it just
own the whole
says,
series rather.
yeah, it says for 2.99 to rent or 9.99 to buy, and that's the you can't do that on film. That's not even you can't do that on television.
Oh, so it's not even the same thing.
No, it's not even the same thing. They don't have the TV one.
Hmm,
Well, that's
weird.
dumb.
What was that other show on Nickelodeon? So it was part of their Friday night lineup. Remember they did
Double
the
Dare.
no, not Double Dare. It was the one where it was always the dad in the recliner that like wheeled around the studio. They would like dance and shit like that.
I don't remember that one.
And there's a whole bunch of those shows. The Snick. It was Saturday Night Nick. That's what it
Oh
was.
yeah, Snick. Yeah, the Snick.
Um, because they used to do like all that, and then there was after all that, this
Nick
show
at
came on.
Night.
Nick at Night. Well, there's Nick at Night.
No, but it was Snick at Night.
Yeah,
If you go here, let me go here. History, original Snick. So it had debuted in '92. It had Clarissa Explains It All,
yeah,
The Ren and Stimpy Show,
yeah.
Roundhouse,
Oh,
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
oh yeah. Are you afraid of the dark was a kid?
And then they put on
I wonder if it was Roundhouse.
Pete,
What was it?
The Adventures of Pete and Pete, The Secret World of Alex Mack, and all that.
Secret World Alex Mack was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I think it was Roundhouse.
It probably was. I mean,
I'm pulling it up on IMDb. I'm almost positive this is it. Sketch comedy show for adolescents with skits revolving around a central theme to teach a lesson.
yeah,
And this they had the dad that would come out on yeah, this is uh I
yeah, because
think
they had
this
dance
was it.
sequences and musical performances.
Yeah,
Yeah, each episode revolved around the Any family and their problems in daily life.
yeah.
Wow.
And they had the dad. He wasn't the dad, it was the angry guy dressed up like a dad in
Yeah,
his recliner that they would like wheel around. I just remember that. Anyways, very nostalgic. Our
yeah,
young listeners are like, what the fuck?
yeah. They're like, "What is Snick? What is you talking about Snickers?"
Yeah. They're gonna make Snick their new Riz.
Yeah, Chris Shizzle. They're gonna
Yeah.
bring Chris Shizzle back.
The shizzle
All
and
right,
Miz. All right,
let's
you
do
ready for
some
some?
words.
Let's do some words, some nostalgia words.
Okay,
We're gonna start with a verb.
a verb.
Yes, sir.
Uh, let's go with watch.
Okay. Type of food.
Green slime.
Okay. Give me a number.
Let's go with 6.
Give me another number.
Midnight or 12. That's a 10.
Okay. Give me a number. Midnight. The type of food.
Italian.
Okay. Give me what do we got here? Part of the body.
Let's go with middle finger.
Okay. Um, two plural nouns.
Let's go with TV shows and eggs.
Three non-plural nouns.
Alien, orange couch, and let's go with remote control.
All right. One, two, three, four adjectives.
Old,
Okay.
disabled, disgusting, sexy.
All right. Speaking of Nickelodeon, like there's that interesting conspiracy theory that the Nickelodeon blob, the orange blob part of their logo
Yeah.
was actually like the design of Epstein's Island.
Oh, really?
So like if you look at Epstein's Island on Google Maps and then like I think if you flip the island the other way, because of how you normally would look at it, if it like flips the other way, it's literally the logo, which, he's got little kids there.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's for kids. It's kind of a
Disney
interesting.
was there. Yeah.
Yeah, Disney was like a big thing. It's right off the coast of Florida.
I always thought it was like a cum drop.
What, Nickelodeon's logo?
Yeah,
That's crazy. What was that? We should probably talk about this later on then and read this Mad Lib. But well, there was a show, I think it was on Hulu. Was it where they were exposing like that Dan Schneider guy,
yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
I remember watching that
Um,
and being like, wow, that guy was a real giant fucking weirdo.
dude,
Like,
I think I bought that on Vudu.
maybe that's where I watched it.
Yeah, I think I bought it on there. It's like I can't think of it, but yeah, it's on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about that. We can talk about that for our conspiracy corner.
No, we don't have to. There's other things that we can talk about. I
All right.
kind of want to do the newly released JFK files.
Okay. Well, let's read
Literally
this shit.
last episode, I was like, we're never gonna see any of this shit. And then like 2 days later, Trump's like, we're releasing everything, and it's coming out Tuesday.
Here
It's
you
like,
go, Ryan. We'll give you your shit. That's
okay.
what he said.
Well,
That's
now
exactly
let's
what he said.
let's get going on the Epstein files. I want to see the 9/11 stuff. I want to see it all. I want everything. I want the time Trump's out of office, there not to be anything held back. I just want it
Yeah.
all out because it's going to be the easiest way to have transparency. Anyways,
I
let's
want
read this.
him. I want him. Well, yeah, I'll say it when we get to that point, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Read it.
All right. So this is from our Cracker Barrel Mad Libs.
Yep.
This one's called Apple Pie So Divine.
And this is a Nickelodeon version.
Yeah, it's actually a recipe.
Okay. This will be
So
interesting.
those of you listeners or viewers, get your paper and pencil out. You can make this maybe. I wouldn't, but you never know. All right. If you're looking for a disabled recipe to bring to your next 4th of July celebration, watch no further. Here's a middle finger watering recipe for the most American dessert of all, apple pie. Excuse me. First, gather your ingredients. You will need the following: two pre-made green slime crusts,
Okay.
fourth of a cup all-purpose alien,
Okay.
three-fourths a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon TV shows, and 2 tablespoons of butter.
Okay.
You also need 12 cups of thinly sliced eggs.
So they got to hard boil them first.
I don't know how else you're gonna slice them.
You can slice them.
Yeah. To make this old recipe, first preheat the remote control to 425 degrees. Then mix together your disgusting ingredients and add in the apples. Pour the mixture into the Italian crust, dot with butter, and cover it with the other crust. Place it in the orange couch. Voila! In just 6 short minutes, you'll have a sexy dessert that will impress all your friends.
I like it.
In 6 short minutes.
Well, if you put it in the big orange couch, yeah, because everybody sits on that thing. You know how warm that's got
Yeah.
to be.
I don't know why it's when you're getting into like these, like when you do kind of a Mad Lib thing and like the minutes for the cooking time. It reminds me on a different show when we read those that thing from my kids' school where the
Mhm.
kids wrote the Thanksgiving,
Yeah, how to
how
make
to
the
make
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving
dinner.
dinner, and that one kid, what was it? What was so? It was like you bake the turkey for like 49 days or some
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah,
Like
it was a
it
long
was
time.
hysterical. Whatever
Yeah,
it was one of the funniest things I've ever read. It's just interesting when you like have kids do that.
kids
Anyways,
say the darndest things.
they do. They really do. Makes me think of pudding. Kids said the darndest things. Bill
Yeah,
Cosby and the
yeah, I
pudding.
know. I was
Okay,
waiting for you.
I wasn't
I
sure
thought
you
you
were.
were. I thought you were going to say something else, but yes, I thought you were going to continue on to the Bill Cosby
No,
thing.
just makes me think of pudding.
Yeah, I
I
can't
can't.
remember
I
his
can't do his
tagline.
impression. So
What was his tagline for that?
I don't know, something like that, wasn't it?
Pudding, ooh, or whatever.
Uh,
Right? Yeah.
no, it was "Kids Say the Darndest Things." That was the tagline, wasn't it?
Was it?
It was also
Wow.
the name of the show.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, every single one of those kids were his kids.
Or what?
All the kids on that show were his kids because of all the women that he fucking raped. He
Oh,
just didn't
well,
know it.
that could be. That would be
And he
weird,
just didn't
wouldn't it?
know it. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Good time.
Allegedly. I think we have to say allegedly.
Wasn't he convicted?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know he's not like a name that gets spoken of anymore.
Yeah, he wrote a book if I would have actually raped those women.
Yeah, just like OJ.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird. Why would you do that as OJ? Why would you write a book? How I would have done it? Like, what the fuck?
That's what a narcissist does, man, because he got away with it and he wanted to brag about it because he
They
thought he
wanted
was.
to tell people how he actually did it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
that's how, even if he, let's just go on a limb here and say he didn't do it. But you still wanted to write that book. Everybody's going to think, everybody already thinks you got off
Hmm.
on killing your fucking ex-wife or wife or whatever. But now everybody thinks that that book is, he did a video on it too. He did like a whole, like at that house, he like walked through. Remember that?
No, I don't
It
remember him
was
doing
like a
it.
companion to the book. How I
No, I
would
don't.
have done it, or if I did it, or something, whatever it was called. And everybody's gonna think that that this is how you did it. It's such a
Right,
weird
right.
thing. Like, why? What the fuck is wrong with him?
Well,
Anyway,
he's dead now.
he's dead now, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. There's
It is.
some weird shit out there in the world.
There is definitely some weird shit.
What were we talking about? Oh, we were gonna get into um
JFK.
oh wait, we got a Dear Dave though, don't we?
We can go out of order. I don't care.
You want to do, let's see. I almost feel ill prepared on the JFK, even though I want to do it. Um, I have where's my phone at?
I want him to tell us if we're actually on a flat Earth or not, too. We should release those files
Mm, you think
because they know.
you think he knows?
Yeah, they know.
You think so?
Fuck yeah, they know.
I don't know. Trump does play very he got asked, I just saw a video last night. He got asked by a reporter like, um, so who actually killed JFK? This is after him releasing the files.
Yeah,
and he goes, he goes into this whole thing where, oh, I released all these files to you guys and whatever, and it's for you guys to scour through and figure that out, and he basically he wouldn't say like
right.
unequivocally it was blah or whatever, you know what I mean? All the I guess I goofed up. I have a lot of these on the my phone here, but then let me see if I have them. I may have sent them in a chat. Let's see. Hmm. Are you okay with me just reading them off the
Yeah,
off my phone here?
that's fine.
Because I don't think I sent them to that chat. So I guess we're gonna jump into conspiracy corner, eh?
Yeah, let's jump into conspiracy corner.
All right. So one of the things that came out is oh, and Trump did say like when he released all this stuff, like he didn't want anything redacted. So like there's social security numbers and all this that
Oh
came out.
shit.
Yeah, but like most of these people are dead, so it doesn't really
Right, right,
matter.
right.
Um, and to be fair, probably most of those people were still getting social security payments,
Oh
You
yeah,
heard about that? The people that were 350 years old still getting social security payments
yeah, yeah.
that Doge found. Anyways, in these files, which is weird to me that this would be in the JFK files, but the CIA secret bases. that they had at the time, a
Oh,
list of them
really?
and where they're at, were all in those files. So if any of those are still operating today, they'd have to get rid of them.
Yeah, they're moved. They're shut down. They're decommissioned now.
So that was an interesting thing. When the files first got released, the it seemed like the a lot of stuff that had been either had been previously, well, these files hadn't been released, but in the event that they were to be released, they wanted certain things redacted, and that was the word Israel
Okay.
a lot. Like it almost implies that Israel may have been kind of also behind this assassination, um, which is kind of interesting. Let's see here. All right, now I will read these. There's a handful of them, but they're not like super long.
That's fine.
So, a CIA officer expressed alarm in early November 1963 about Lee Harvey Oswald's activities from September, urging CIA superiors to pay closer attention to Oswald, but the higher ups dismissed all concerns. This was either an intelligence lapse or something deeper. CIA had been closely monitoring Oswald's contacts, including his ties to Cuba, yet the agency failed to share intel with the FBI, meaning that Oswald did not face heightened scrutiny dispute CIA surveillance.
Despite,
Despite, it says dispute, but they meant to put despite. One document details how CIA officer George Joannides, I think is how it's pronounced,
it's
something
Joy
like
Fabrics.
it's Joanne Nides, but it's all one word. So
Hmm.
Joannides, I would assume, or Jonides, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, that George guy funneled $25,000 to an anti-Castro Cuban group that had interacted with Oswald. Uh, Joannides later served as CIA liaison to an assassination inquiry without disclosing his role in these operations, fueling deep suspicion of CIA knowledge and complicity. Um, A Polaroid photograph by Mary Moorman at the grassy knoll in front of the presidential limo at Dealey Plaza, along with forensic and ballistic reports, call into question the Warren Commission's finding that Oswald fired all of the shots in 8.6 seconds from the book depository. The newly released documents include analysis suggesting that the bullet impacts and timing do not add up to one shooter. In particular, there was suppressed testimony from multiple eyewitnesses claiming shots were fired from the grassy knoll, but these testimonies were dismissed or never publicized. The new files unearthed a suppressed statement from a bystander near the knoll who believed a shot came from that direction. This long hidden account strengthens the credibility of dozens of other witnesses, but was actively suppressed. There is official acknowledgement, albeit no proof given, that a second shooter was present. The main takeaway so far is that the CIA knew much more than they admitted and actively withheld evidence from other intelligence agencies. The Dallas Police Department also knowingly ignored intelligence from J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI that there was a likelihood that someone would kill Oswald while in their custody. They were warned and did nothing about it. John Garrett Underhill Jr. was a U.S. Army captain in the Military Intelligence Service during World War II and later served as a military correspondent for Life magazine. He also had intermittent contact with the CIA's Domestic Contact Service from the late 1940s to the mid 1950s. Uh, Following President John F. Kennedy's assassination on November 22nd, 1963, Underhill reportedly expressed to his friends his belief that a faction within the CIA was responsible for the assassination. He allegedly stated that Lee Harvey Oswald was set up as a patsy and that he feared for his own life due to his knowledge of the individuals involved. On May 8, 1964, Underhill was found dead in his Washington, D.C. home from a gunshot wound to the head. The death was officially ruled a suicide. However, some researchers and authors have questioned this conclusion, noting that the bullet entered behind his left ear, despite Underhill being right-handed. One of
Well,
those.
that's all. Yeah, he did one of these deals.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do. I mean, it's just another one of these, anomaly suicides that seem to happen.
Mm.
Underhill's allegations and subsequent death have fueled speculation and conspiracy theories regarding the CIA's potential involvement in President Kennedy's assassination. His story is often cited in discussions challenging the lone gunman narrative and suggesting a broader conspiracy. It's important to note that while Underhill's claims contribute to the body of conspiracy theories surrounding the JFK assassination, they remain unproven, and his death circumstances continue to be a subject of debate among researchers. Underhill was reportedly scheduled to meet with New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison before his death. That's probably why they offed him.
Yeah, of course.
Garrison, who was investigating the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, had identified Underhill as a potential witness with valuable information. However, before Garrison could interview him, Underhill was found dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Convenient.
Yeah, because every time I think about going and testifying, I think, I mean, I might as well just kill myself.
Yeah, because you don't actually want to you don't actually want to tell people your story.
Right.
Like even though you've told people your story, but like to make it official, you don't want to make it official. You just want to kill yourself usually before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's typically what you do.
Yeah. And of course,
Especially
that's
if you
all
have
bullshit.
information that would send Hillary to Clinton to prison. You would
Right.
definitely want to kill yourself before you do that. So
Yeah. And by the way, hello, CIA fans. Thank you for listening.
yeah, well, they were listening the second we said, "Oh, we're going to talk about JFK files."
Yeah.
Actually,
They
when we
were
brought up
listening.
Epstein's Island looking like the Nickelodeon logo, that's when they started tuning in.
They tuned in before we even hit record.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
just,
true. Well,
let's
to
be
be
honest.
fair, the bookshelves are bugged, and we've known that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that goes way back now. All right. In a 1967 interview, Garrison discussed Underhill's allegations that a faction within the CIA was involved in Kennedy's assassination. Garrison noted that Underhill had expressed fears for his. Did I already read this? No.
No.
Expressed fears for his life due to his knowledge of the conspiracy. Underhill's death occurred before Garrison could obtain further information from him. A newly released CIA memo from December 1963 suggests that internal agency officials debated whether Oswald acted alone or was manipulated. The document indicates that certain CIA officers believed Oswald was an expendable asset, meaning he may have been unknowingly used by intelligence operatives. This means Oswald was involved in covert activities before the assassination, which may have included contacts with anti-Castro operatives and possible handlers. A top secret CIA briefing document from 1964 reveals that senior intelligence officials were concerned about public perception of CIA involvement. The document states that certain information was deliberately withheld from the Warren Commission to avoid further scrutiny. It also includes a statement from high-ranking CIA officer that the agency's hands were not entirely clean in the Oswald. Hang on, Oswald. Where is it? In the Oswald case. Sorry, it went to the
The
next page, but
next page.
it
Yeah.
was cut off, so I had to find it on the next page there. Um, so basically, it let's see. Um, the next one. Let's see. Here's a quote. Last night, we received a call in our Dallas office from a source who stated that an attempt would be made to kill Oswald during his transfer. We notified the chief of police immediately, and he assured us that adequate protection would be given. However, this was not done. That's a quote from Hoover. Uh, a continuation of the quote. The thing I am most concerned about, and so is the Deputy Attorney General, is having something issued so that we can convince the public that Oswald is the real assassin. That also came from Hoover. So you're kind of seeing like we need to make it seem like Oswald was the one and only guy here.
Yep. We
Uh,
need to tell that narrative. That's the narrative we're going with.
yeah. Let's see. A top secret CIA document from 1964 reveals that senior intelligence officials deliberately withheld files on Oswald's movements from the Warren Commission. Certain operational details regarding Oswald's contacts in Mexico City were deemed too sensitive for full disclosure to the Commission. This confirms suspicions that the CIA controlled access to crucial intelligence during the official investigation. What else was withheld? I'm sure there's intelligence I've not gotten to in the files. That's what this guy's basically that he did. He's gone through what he's gone through so far and doing summaries basically, and that's what I'm reading you.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. A CIA analysis from 1964, newly declassified, discusses the possibility of a second shooter. The memo states some ballistic inconsistencies remain unexplained. While not conclusive, certain trajectory analysis suggests the involvement of more than one gunman. This document is one of the first known official CIA acknowledgments that the lone gunman theory had many internal critics. Let's see here. I think, yeah, I think that's it. And then right after all that came out, like that thing. So that's all I've got so far.
Yeah.
There's Mork, so they didn't they released 80,000 things all at once. A lot of that
Jeez.
had already been previously declassified, right?
Right.
But some of it got released earlier with certain things redacted, right? Which is how they went back and discovered it was Israel that was redacted and some of those other things that they had already previously released. There's more. There's a lot more, but they what they did is they did it in like 20,000, 30,000,
Right. Right.
and they did it in like dumps over the course of like a few days. So um, I'm gonna keep following because I don't have the time to go through all this shit, but I'm gonna
Right.
keep following these people that are going through it page by
Right.
page,
Doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll kind of try and do like summaries as we go and as the information comes out. This way we can convey. But even just the little bit that they've gotten through, because 80,000 pages is a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
You can kind of, I mean, it's basically what we've already known. More than one shooter, probably CIA involvement to some extent. There's probably there was other people. There was a lot. I think Oswald was a unknowing um, piece to this whole thing. I still don't think he took a single shot. I think they had him do things and be in certain places that would give the
All the narrative. Yeah.
that would yeah would basically make it seem as though they could basically take this information and create their patsy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Without having him actually do it.
Yeah.
So,
So
uh,
you've seen the most recent video that came out that shows the driver did it, right?
yeah.
Do you think that came out recently just because of all of the stuff that's getting redacted? They're just putting more
I don't
confusing things out there.
I don't
Because
know.
that could be done by AI.
Well, that's what you had asked before, and I said that it it makes me wonder because how many times have we seen the Zapruder footage, and now we're getting the Zapruder footage in like 4K, and all of a
Right.
sudden you can see the driver turn around and what looks to be a gun,
Hmm.
and then you see JFK's head go, like the original Zapruder footage. Of course, you could have pixelated, and you guys got to remember this is in the 60s. How good was a fucking handheld video camera at that time? Are
Right.
we gonna see it be that clear that the guy has a gun on Zapruder's? To me,
That,
it feels very AI-ish, but
yes.
I don't know because what if that's okay? So let's think about this. Remember, um, what we'd always say like, oh, the each president that gets elected, they get taken into a room right after they get sworn in, and then they're shown a tape of the JFK, which gets them in line because this could have, basically, like, you've heard this, right?
Yeah.
Like the theory that happens when every president gets elected. What if that's the fucking video they were shown? Yeah, you could just be out on your parade, waving at all your supporters, and we'll have the fucking driver shoot you. We'll tell everybody it was a guy in the fucking seventh floor book depository that did it,
Well,
and you'll never know. What if that is the footage that they've had and showed to them, and somehow it's a scam, or at least I don't know. Like, it's interesting. I don't know. Either way, even if it was the driver, it I mean, they've said, like, look, the driver turned around and shot him. I still think there was multiple shooters, even if the driver was involved. The driver has the foreshore hit, though. You know what I mean? Like
right.
if everybody
Yeah.
else misses that, but here's the thing. So who else got hit in the car? It was the
Senator or governor or whatever the fuck he was.
the governor, and Kennedy got hit twice. Like, we
Yeah.
know that. And then there was the bullet that bounced off the curb or whatever.
Mhm.
And and then remember we saw that one thing where the audio from that time, because they said for the longest time that the Zapruder film had been edited,
Yeah.
so we knew that, right? But then there's that audio from something else that day. Remember, it was just the audio, and you hear more than just those three shots.
Yeah.
You hear like six shots or something.
Yeah.
Like,
It was like 6 or 7. Yeah.
they did like an audio analysis of that. Like, somebody was recording. It was a video, but you
Yeah.
just take the audio and you can hear like six shots, and they're not, and they've like proven that it's not an echo from one shot. It's literally six individual
Definitely.
shots that were taken.
From two different guns, if I remember correctly, at
Yeah,
least.
and yeah, they did, like, I remember we watched the whole thing. We've done covered a lot
Oh
of.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we've hit on that Jackie was the one that did it at
Yeah.
one point. Like, I mean, what I don't think is, based on all the stuff that we've covered, I don't think Oswald even took a single shot. I really don't. I think he was put in positions to be able to kind of tell the narrative. He was allowed to buy a gun. He was allowed to do these different things. He was
I
sent to,
think he was instructed to buy a gun.
yeah, he probably,
He was instructed to pose. Wasn't it Time magazine that had that picture of him in his backyard with the gun and shit? Like he was instructed to do all that shit. Like,
yeah. Or even if it wasn't, it was like, not kind of like, let's say, for instance, you be Lee Harvey in this scenario, and I'll be the CIA operative. All right. But we're back in
oh, oh,
1962.
okay, okay,
So you're not dead yet.
okay. I'm not dead yet. All right, cool.
Um, and I'm your CIA operative. It's not like, all right, Lee, you're gonna go buy this gun, you're gonna do this, it's not like that. It's more like, hey, if you got a gun, we could go out shooting sometime. You know what I mean? It's soft selling the idea to you to get you to do things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
I think it was more of that because,
the way I see it though, I see it more like, hey, here's the thing. We're gonna kill Kennedy.
no,
Hold on.
no,
Just fucking
I,
let's see
I
it, damn
can't
it.
even buy into that, dude. They didn't tell him they were going to kill Kennedy. I
I
guarantee you,
think
he didn't know
I
shit
think
about that.
because he said he was a patsy, he was set up, and
Right.
I think
Because he
his
found out he
thing
was being
was
accused of that.
he could do all these certain things to help them sell the narrative, and they were going to get him back to Russia or where the fuck he was from, Cuba or fucking Pakistan or wherever it was. He was sold on some bullshit that never happened. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think so. I really don't. I honestly think, I think I look at Oswald as a guy who, I think he was an activist, which
Hmm.
is why he was with the whole anti, what was it? Not the anti-Castro, the
And
whatever that,
he was a BLM.
yeah, well, of those days. I think it was one of those. I think he was an activist, and they used this guy. The fact that he came here, then he went back to Russia, then he came back here, because with that kind of movement alone would have got you on a list
Right,
back
right.
then. And I think they saw a guy who was smart enough to be guided, but too dumb to be told too much information. I
Mhm.
think they looked at Oswald as a guy like if we tell him what our overall plan is, he's gonna fucking fuck it all up. I think they looked at him as a risk in terms of that. So the minimal information that he knew, the better. I think he was introduced to certain people, which allowed his actions and movement of going and meeting with different people and all this to be then utilized later on to say, see, and then I also think that when they do this shit, they have like this is why nobody can pin it down on any one thing except we know it wasn't Oswald. You want some people to think it's the CIA, some people to think it's the mafia, some people to think um it's
The bushes.
the and I think they were involved. I mean, the more different people you have involved or potential suspects, groups, whatever, the the harder it is to find that truth, right?
Hmm.
And then when you have a commission saying, well, it's none of those things, it was this one guy over here, who also supposedly killed a cop, however many miles away in the wrong direction of where they found him 10 minutes later. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the impossibility to actually do the things that they claimed he did. Um, and then you've got it just I don't think Oswald knew the whole thing. Oh well, we have eyewitnesses of people saw him in a cab with what looked to be curtain rods, and then he showed up that day to work with curtain rods or what they thought were curtain rods, but it was actually the gun. So I guarantee you, somebody said, "Hey, go bring Shelly some curtain rods." So he's walking in with some actual curtain rods. You know what I mean? The point is, they had to kill him because they didn't want him to talk.
I think, see, this is why I think he's got to know more because there's too many variables. If he was that stupid, there's too many things that he had to do correct for all this to work out, you know?
No, I don't.
Well,
There's no way, dude.
we're gonna
He's
have to agree to disagree.
we will. He's too dumb. He is not a smart guy. This guy.
That's why I think, because I mean,
You
so many,
wouldn't tell a stupid person that you're gonna kill the president. You wouldn't.
well, he may not have known that much, but I think he was directed to do more things than what you think.
I agree that he was directed. I just think it was soft selling as opposed to like, Dave, go do this thing right now. I don't think it was that. I think it was suggestive. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
think
but
I think
even
they
suggestive, he
I
may not have done the things that they needed him to do.
yeah, but here's the thing, dude. Dumb people can be suggested into doing shit. I know because I do this with people I work with. I'm not in the same way. I'm not having them set up to, but I can. You got to know how to like fuck with people.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like you,
Manipulation,
you
I get
can you
that.
can convince people to do shit that they wouldn't normally do. It's not difficult. You just got to know how to do it. It's kind of a shitty thing at the same time. But the point is, they do this shit.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know, um, like if let's say TV does this to everyone.
Yeah,
You turn on the TV and you could be watching a show, a commercial, whatever. This is what advertising is and things like that. There's that. We've talked about all this. It's the subliminal things, and you're watching or listening to or whatever, and next thing you know, you want a cheeseburger, and you don't know why you want a cheeseburger, but you do. Well, it's because Adam Sandler was eating a cheeseburger in the movie,
right.
and Burger King was logo was in the background. So now you're like, well, I got to go to Burger King and get a cheeseburger, but I don't know why. Well,
Mhm.
it's suggestive, and I think
I get it.
that's kind of what they did with him. Um, and there might have been some more direct orders, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't think the people he was being directed by that he even knew that they were CIA. I don't think he even knew that much. I think he was an activist, and if you're an activist and you're looking for ways to make a change, and then you get this random person out of nowhere that shows up and says, "Hey, I can help you with your activism. If you go here and talk to this guy on this date and time, and if you go do this, and if you go, you know, these suggestive things, which he wants to be an activist, so he's going to go do these things. You can almost guarantee he's going to because he's an activist, and you just show up and you're this fucking guy that's going to help him, but he has no fucking clue that you're CIA or
Right.
what. I think that's what I mean by when suggestive. You know what I mean? Like, no, like I'm not saying he was ordered to and he was getting paid by. I think they got him to do everything on his own through suggestion. And even if he didn't do one of those things, it was enough that they could have built the narrative around him anyways. And I do think they had the mafia. I think they had all these other things in case the fucking Oswald thing fell apart. They could always fall back on the other nine potential options, which is why you had six shots and not just three.
Could be.
And and
And that way too, with six shots, you've got the deniability, and maybe no one actually knows who actually got the right shot. Think of like
exactly.
a firing squad.
And that's it. If you have them all in different places and everybody's supposed to take the shot at the same time, which is probably what there was. I think there was the first shot was supposed to be the open shot to alert everybody else. Now shoot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The driver slows the car, whether he turns around and shoot. I mean, if you've got all these different people all taking the shot at the exact same time, and you also have to bank on the fact that you might have somebody that'll chicken out the last second and not actually pull the trigger,
Hmm.
right? So while only six shots may have gotten fired, you might have had nine people lined in that whole area ready to take a shot, and three never did.
Right.
You might have had one guy take three shots and another guy take two, and five others that never took a single shot. Who knows? And I think ultimately to wrap up this conspiracy corner, I think a lot of the stuff, so all the shit that got released, it still exists. But I think if you went back to 1963, 1964, 1965, a lot of shit got destroyed.
Yeah.
And I think all of that stuff is what would truly tell you 100% names of who was actually involved, paychecks and everything. I think
Yeah.
none of that exists anymore, and I think they're doing the same shit with the Epstein files. They're doing a lot of this stuff that actually. So when it's all said and done, what we'll get from the JFK files is a lot of implications, but no definitive,
Right.
because the definitive stuff was destroyed immediately after it happened
Yeah.
to cover up the fact that we can't. We have this narrative. We've chosen our guy. We kill him 3 days later or whatever it is. He's not going to talk. We'll fucking the guy that killed him will feed him fucking nonsense. Not feed him nonsense, but like fuck, like what happened to his brain? Didn't he have like that brain eating disorder or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Where what Jack Ruby or whatever. So like he went fucking nutty, and you can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth, right? And this was all done to like muddy those waters.
Right.
And so they didn't need to kill Jack Ruby. All they had to do was make him sound crazy. You killed the guy that was for sure could have, through testifying, made basically would have came out that Oswald didn't even fucking pull the trigger. And that's
Right.
what they didn't want because they needed to put it on somebody because they were protecting everybody else. You
Right.
know what I mean? Um,
And he didn't matter.
right. He was just a dumb activist. It's
Right.
so one more thing. You've heard this. So you have all these activists now, right? Or at least in the whole BLM, the Antifa, all this bullshit, right? You have all these people. And what they don't understand is that they're being used by the Democrat Party to gain some sort of like well, whatever they're activists against or whatever, right? And they use them, and then once they've gained whatever power or control they needed by using them, they get rid of them because they don't need them anymore. And that's what these activists don't realize is that you're literally the first ones that are going to be destroyed. You think you're fighting for this thing, but you're not. You're not. You're the first one that goes. You don't even get to reap the rewards of whatever it is that you're helping this party get or gain, right?
Right.
They don't realize that. And they're the first ones to go. Because you're a useful idiot, essentially. Oswald was a useful idiot. Most of these BLM and Antifas are useful idiots. They don't realize that what they're fighting for is a lie and that they're going to be the first ones destroyed in this whole thing if anything ever comes down on them. You know?
Right.
It's just stupid. They just don't know. I mean, they've been sucked into some bullshit that they can't, that they don't realize. It's unfortunate because you see a lot of people do this shit and have no fucking clue, you know.
What they're really getting themselves
Well,
into.
exactly. It's like, man, if you could only listen and not think that, like, you know, I don't know. Anyways, it's beside the point.
Right.
Um, so yeah, there you go.
There you have it. JFK is dead. Don't know if you guys knew that or not.
JFK is dead, and there was more than one shooter, and it wasn't Oswald. I think we can say that
Oh yeah.
for sure. Um,
Definitively.
all right. Let's see. Dear Dave,
Yes.
we're ready for one of those.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Um, hmm, let's see here. Fuck it. We'll do this one.
Fuck it indeed.
It's just it's kind of an interesting one. Makes me giggle. All right. Here's your subject line. How to figure out the logistics of where to have sex if we both live with other people.
All right.
Ready for this one?
Yep.
All right. Uh, okay, it does. I want to make sure there's no names. Okay. Here's the beef of the letter. I have hangups with having sex because I live with a male house or a male housemate who's a lot younger, and I don't know if I'm overreacting or right. And commuting to boyfriend's place is challenging. Looking for options, thoughts, advice. I live in a townhouse with a housemate. We're cordial, but not super close friends. He's a 24-year-old guy. I'm 30 female. My partner usually comes over to my place because it's easier for him to commute. We used to only have sex if I was sure my housemate wasn't home, like when he visits his family some weekends. But that meant boyfriend and I only having sex maybe once a month, and if that weekend happened to fall on that time of the month for me, even longer, which isn't ideal. So we decided to just not care and see each other more frequently. I still would like to be very careful though. I know we're all adults and grown adults have sex, but it's also about respect too. I'm also pretty sure my housemate has never had a girlfriend and isn't the type of guy that is really open about these things because I once asked him if he has a girlfriend or boyfriend and he almost choked on his food. So I don't want to make him feel worse in any way. But my God, I can't not be loud during sex. It just comes out. Also, it's people and the bed moving. I'm pretty sure anyone hearing that would know, so I'm extremely embarrassed about this. I've tried shoving my face into a pillow to keep myself quiet, and boyfriend once actually did cover my mouth, which, okay, was a little hot, but that's about it for keeping myself quiet. I feel like I'm reading a really shitty penthouse letter.
Right?
I'll do my best, but I still feel kind of embarrassed, especially because it feels like we're kids sneaking off to have sex. I wish I was shameless with this because there shouldn't be any shame here. Aside from going to his place, what are some other ways to deal with this? How do I overcome my hangups? Or do you think I'm right in thinking this is kind of trashy and disrespectful to be having sex when the other person is at home? It's not like we're leaving my room, though. Is there a chance my housemate hasn't ever realized we're having sex, though? Because I'd actually feel a lot better if that was the case. Then there's like an asterisk. Um, this is about the boyfriend's place. About his place, he lives with three other guys, but they're all over 35, and so they don't care and probably high five each other after
Mm.
one of them brings a woman home and they hear moaning. It's just that the commute is a bit tough on me. End of letter.
All right. Well, we got to get those guys some shirts because they high five still. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So here's what I would say.
He does the
I
nod to us.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
I have been in that situation before where I lived with a female who was not my significant other, and I had a significant other, and she also did, and we would both have sex on different times. She was younger than I was, not well, maybe 6 years. No, about 4 years, we'll say difference. But it's it's a natural part of life. It's your place. Um, and if the noise is what worries you, play some music. Because or have a TV on or something to kind of drown out the noise. But let's be real, your roommate knows what you're doing. You know what I mean? Especially if you're loud as you say you are, he knows, and maybe he
How does she get over being embarrassed of being loud with what it's appearing to me as the roommate is probably a virgin or
I
something?
was gonna say
And
probably gay. I think he's gay.
okay, so if he's gay, then I mean, how does she get around being embarrassed?
Well,
Like not being embarrassed anymore. How does she work through that? Does she just need to have a conversation with this guy, this roommate of hers, and be like,
well,
listen, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it'll probably happen. I'm loud. If you start to hear anything, throw some headphones on. Like
yeah. Well,
just have that conversation.
yeah, I would have the conversation and be like, look, we're both adults. Like, I don't know. I tried talking to you about your relationship before. You kind of got weirded out and sketched. So I just need to tell you, like, I am a very sexually active person, and when I have my boyfriend over here, we're going to have sex. And if that bothers you, I'm sorry. Like, we need to come to a mutual understanding of how that's going to work because I'm not going to pay for rent here and then go get a hotel.
Right.
This is my place just as much as yours. Like, and feel free to leave when we're having sex. That's totally up to you, but you don't have to. I want to be comfortable here, and I want you to be comfortable also. You know, um, but I am very loud. Like, that's just who I am. I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to fix that, but I don't know. I'm not gonna hold back just so I don't offend you. So she could have that conversation. But as far as getting over the shame and all that, there's a technique called radical acceptance theory, or radical acceptance rather, and it's basically just accepting no matter what, this is how things are, and I can't do anything about it. This is what it is. There's a lot more to it, but that's like the fine line of what it is. So if she ran through some radical acceptance, maybe 2 or 3 times, she'd feel a lot better about it and she'd accept it and just say, well, this is how it is. Or fucking suck it up and go over to his house, commute himself. or
Yeah.
herself. Go there and fuck like monkeys over there. Who gives a shit? You know? I only say monkeys because they're loud. But yeah, I mean it's a
I'd like to
natural.
know what the commute really is. Like, if it's easier for the boyfriend to commute to her, but it's
I'm
harder for
guessing
her to
because of,
commute to the boyfriend, is it like,
I'm guessing work. Maybe he works closer to her,
oh, so
so
he can, like, let's
after
say he gets off
working,
work, stop
yeah,
over, knock
yeah,
one out, then go home.
yeah. That's what I'm
Or,
guessing.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a problem. I get it, but you just get used to it.
How
You
about
know,
how about I mean, I don't know how long they've been together, her and boyfriend here, but have we thought about maybe just getting a place the two of them as
right?
well?
That's
Like,
an option as
stop
well.
sharing house with a 24-year-old whatever he is, confused virgin, and maybe dude can stop hanging out with the three other guys that still high five,
Yeah, yeah,
and maybe the boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe they need to get to a point where they can just like be together in an apartment somewhere, and
yeah.
then they don't have to fucking worry about
That's that's another option right there. But then too, if you get an apartment, you've got the same concern because let's be honest, apartments don't have really good soundproofing walls.
but it's different because
Right.
it's the same, but it's different because, like, I mean, you live in an apartment.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure you've had lots of sex, and you probably didn't give two shits what your neighbor thought.
Nope.
So, and if that's the problem, I guess buy a fucking house. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
guess
Those
what?
are your
If she's that loud, even if you buy a house in a neighborhood, the neighbors will probably hear you. So you need to go find a fucking barn in the middle of nowhere and just make that your sex barn.
right.
Get over the fact that people are going to hear you, or adjust the fact that if you're that loud, why do you need to be that loud?
But she just lets her inhibitions go and she really enjoys it and gets into it. And that's
Okay,
fine.
well then if you're unable to suppress that noise, then you have to make other arrangements. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's an interesting situation. Like,
Yeah, but I do think you're right. I mean, discuss with the boyfriend about moving in with each other, and that alleviates all your problems right there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, people do it. So people do it loud. People do it quiet. People do it weird. So, um, you know, it is what it is. At first,
Right.
I was gonna suggest like until we got further into the thing, I was gonna say, well, just go find a dressing room somewhere in
Mm.
like a department store. But that wouldn't work if she's loud.
Right.
So
Right.
uh don't do that.
No, because then you're gonna be like bad Santa.
Yeah. All right. Well, we solved her problems.
Yeah.
Um let's get into what you're watching. You have
All right.
anything?
I do. I do. I went and saw Novocaine this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking at the list of movies yesterday, and I saw that as an option. How was it?
I liked it. It was a very interesting premise. Um, there was a twist that I didn't see until I saw it, if that makes sense.
Hang on a second. I'm trying to share it. Why is it coming up as one though? Huh. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So it had a interesting twist.
Yeah, it was an interesting twist I didn't see until I saw, and
It's not
you
something you're wanting to spoil, I'm guessing.
I can. I mean, if you want, I can discuss it. So spoiler alert for those that don't want to fucking know. For those that don't give a shit about spoilers. So the whole premise is he is trying to save his girlfriend after she got kidnapped during this bank robbery, right? And so in the middle of the movie, it shows the kidnappers and her in their like lair, we'll call it. And I looked and I was like, wait a minute. She's not tied up. She's not handcuffed. What the fuck? You know? And then like literally when I said that in my mind, it was revealed that she was in on it.
Mm.
I didn't see that happening. Like I didn't see her being in on it at all until that moment when I saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And then they say it like, so it was like, you know, but it was good. I liked it. Like I will definitely buy it. I don't think Joy really was too impressed with it.
No.
She said it was weird.
That,
But
yeah. I
you
think
know,
I've seen the preview to this, and it kind of looked like so like it reminded me of like he doesn't feel pain, right? Or something.
correct. He
And
doesn't
it
feel pain.
reminded
Yep.
me of the what's that one movie? Um the CIA guy that um you have it in your voodoo.
CIA guy. I got a lot of
Yeah.
movies.
That he oh what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but where he's like he fights all these guys and he just gets his ass kicked, but he wins these like I
About
can't
nobody.
remember, dude. What?
Nobody.
Yeah, I think it's nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he like gets fucked up, but yet he
Ends up
doesn't seem
winning
to phase
all the
him.
time. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah. It's like basically, it's like Taken and that put together.
Okay,
You know,
I don't
I,
want I want to see it. This is one I'll see.
I would see it. I liked it. Like I'd literally go back and go see it again today because it was that good. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
Okay,
You know, I like the premise, the fact that he's got some rare fucking, blood disorder that he doesn't feel any pain,
yeah,
and it shows because he gets fucked up like really bad,
yeah.
but and I've never seen Jack Quaid in anything. I don't know what he's in, the main actor. Yeah. Is he in
Let's
anything else?
see. The Hunger Games, Scream, Logan Lucky, Companion.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw three of those.
So he's been in quite a few things. Looks like
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Oh, nice.
All
He was
right,
in Spider-Man. All
and,
right.
and what else you got?
Um,
You don't have to fill if you don't have anything, because I
no,
got
I was
you're
just
going to want to
that
talk about.
that reminded me of the movie A Man and His Penguin, I think it was.
Oh, the penguin lessons that we're seeing on screen.
Yeah. Put in Reno, John Reno. No, John Reno. Jean. And then Reno. Yeah, click on him.
Jean
Yeah, Jean Reno. What's the penguin movie he's in?
Ronan.
My Penguin Friend. This is a true story.
Did you watch this movie?
Yeah. I liked it. It was really good.
My Penguin Friend.
Yeah.
So
It's
what
true.
let's see, lost penguin rescued from an oil spill transforms the life of a heartbroken fisherman. They soon become unlikely friends, so bonded that even the vast ocean cannot divide them. One
Yeah.
of
So
those
this,
feel-good movies.
yeah. And like I said, it's a true story. So this penguin here shows up on his doorstep or basically on his beachfront home, covered in oil. He cleans them all up, as you see there in the trailer, and builds them a little house. And he migrates back home. The penguin does. But
Hmm.
then every year he comes back at the same time, stays for a while, and then leaves. and goes back. He migrates back and forth.
Oh,
It's like I said, it's a true story. The news covered it and shit, and they came to his house and did a whole fucking thing. It's a really good movie. I liked it. You might like it because it's a true story. Um, but it is definitely a feel good movie
is it
until the end.
one where you cry at the end?
You might because you're kind of sensitive to things. But I want to say he came back for like 20 years or some shit. I'd have to look at the
Jeez.
story again because you can Wikipedia it, but Dim Dim, yep, Dim Dim the Penguin. That was his name. But yeah, they ended up putting a tracking device on him and shit like that. But in the end, spoiler, in the end, they're like, yeah, we don't know what happened. He just stopped coming. And I'm like, well, he's got a fucking tracking device. How do you not know where he is? You know?
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
would
sure he
assume
died.
like, well, like penguins, like most things, get old and die.
Right. And plus, he's in the water, so penguins get eaten by other fucking animals all the time.
Yeah. So more than
So,
likely, it either, let's just go with the nice thing, it died of old age, or it
yeah.
maybe it got eaten, and that tracking device is destroyed at that point. So
Right. Right.
I mean, it's but for let's just say 20 years, that's a good chunk of time to like.
Yeah.
It's interesting that humans can save because it's not like this happens. It seems like where um, humans will save an animal, raise it for a year or two, and then that animal becomes attached to that person
Yeah.
and keeps coming back to visit that person. It's weird. Like you see it with, I've seen it with like birds, like the
Yep.
people that have rescued birds and then they come back. The deer,
Yeah.
you've
Air.
seen those videos of like um, the people that uh, like even like lions in a zoo, like the people that raise the lion at a really young age, and then they like the zookeeper, or whatever, they give them to a zoo, and then that lion's in a zoo, and then they come back like 15 years later, and that lion sees them, and they're like, you know, a big giant baby. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
weird how they like, but people always are like, oh, well, animals, they don't remember anything. Like they got really short memories. Well, like, obviously not, because I could walk in to a zoo pen and that lion probably kill me. So like they do know and they do remember. It's
Right.
interesting
Right.
how attached both the humans and what even these like what would you would say are wild animals, how they get attached to people.
Hmm.
Penguin, wasn't Free Willy kind of the same concept in a way?
Yeah, but that wasn't really a fucking true story,
No, it wasn't a
though.
true story, but you know what I
Oh,
mean.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there was that one where the guy rescued a bunch of geese.
Yeah.
Remember, and then he would
Oh,
fly with them or something.
yep.
Wasn't
Yep.
that a true story?
That was a true story. Dolphin Tale, that was a true story.
Yeah. Flipper, that was a
Dolphin,
true story. I'm just kidding.
Dolphin Tale was good. The first one, I didn't watch the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and ninth,
Yeah.
but the first one was good. But yeah, I watched this. That's on my Voodoo. That's pretty good.
All right. I would probably watch this one. This will be
Other than that,
one of,
I don't think there was much else new that I can think of. I watched a lot of old shit, but that's old shit.
yeah. All right. Well,
What about you?
I watched three things, but I'm blanking on one of them. So I guess I'll just go into the one thing I'm not blanking on. Um, the is a little bit older movie.
Oh yeah,
Rain Over Me.
yeah, Adam Sandler.
What is going on here with this fucking forced ad? Don't, don't, don't. It won't let me remove the ad.
No, I know, I see that.
Weird. Let's refresh the page.
Then you force a different one.
Oh, there we go. All right, Rain Over Me. Adam
It's a
Sandler.
good one.
So, a man who lost his family in the September 11th attack on New York City runs into his old college roommate. Rekindling the friendship is the one thing that appears able to help the man recover from his grief. So, I never even knew this movie existed. Like, I didn't know Adam Sandler. played serious characters.
Yeah, not
Like
very often.
yeah, and then the only thing that was like weird for me and is the whole Bruce Springsteen haircut that he's got. But doesn't he listen? He's like, isn't "Rain Over Me" a Bruce Springsteen song?
I don't know. I think
Something
so.
like that. I because he listens to this. That's he's got the headphones on. You can see in like the little preview there.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got out of it. But it was a interesting movie that I didn't know existed, and I had no idea. Like Adam Sandler, like I know he did that what Uncut Gems or whatever
Yeah.
movie where he's like
Yeah.
serious. I knew he was doing them, but this is one I had never heard of. So,
I like Uncut Gems because he dies.
oh, well, there
Oh,
you go.
spoiler. My bad. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a long time, man.
Yeah, so this was a little bit older, obviously, but it's pretty good. Kind of a sad-ish story, but
That does remind me of another movie though that I
and
watched.
the other thing in this that like he tries to go see his therapist.
Yeah.
This what's her name? Liv Tyler
It wasn't Liv Tyler. Yeah.
plays like the counselor. So I did think of you when I was watching this. I was like, oh, I wonder if Dave's ever seen this movie.
Yeah.
And then I still can't remember the other one. Um, just of note, this morning before we got on the pad here, I had turned on Shallow Hal. And
Nice.
like, because I woke up like way too early, and I turned that on, and then I had to. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about Shallow Hal. We all know that movie.
Mhm.
Just it's one of those movies you don't got to think about. But the you said you had another one because I have
Yeah.
something that I guarantee you're going to want to talk about, and we're going to run out of time. So the question is do you want to do yours or do you want to do mine?
Let's do yours.
All right. So I started watching
Ha
Traitors.
ha. Boy.
So was I right? You're going to want to talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I am 4 episodes into third season.
Oh, so you went to the new season. All right.
Yeah. Well, once we're done with this, we might go back and watch season one and two.
Bob the drag queen.
So, um, I guess I can spoil up through the fourth episode because the season's over, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, I normally don't give a shit about spoilers. I'll have you not spoil it for me.
Okay.
We can talk about everything up to the fourth episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, just if, in case you need a little reminder, Bob the drag queen's gone,
Okay.
and they here. I need to see the cast real quick. I'm still learning the names. Some of these outfits Alan Cummings wears is a
Yes.
little ridiculous.
They're all ridiculous.
All right, so
Yeah,
wait,
and that's the one that's got
so wait,
Zach
these people
Efron
use
on there.
their fake names on the show?
Some of them.
Because uh,
What are you looking for?
fuck is this? She's not on the show. I don't. She doesn't even look familiar. Is she one of the housewives?
Yes.
She doesn't go by that though.
Yeah, I think she does.
Uh, she doesn't go by that. She goes by a different name too.
No, it's
She goes
Gabriella.
by Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby.
Okay, Danielle goes. Dolores goes by that. Some of these people might not have came onto the show yet. I'm assuming they get added in later, maybe.
No, nobody gets the only ones that get added, I think have already been added.
I don't even see them listed here. The
You gotta go
three
to all
guys that
cast.
I
Yeah,
don't see
all
Boston
cast.
Rob. I don't see.
Go to all cast.
Yeah, I think that's half the problem is I'm like not seeing some of the people I want to talk about.
There you go.
All right. Um, yeah, because I didn't see Sandoval in that list. This
Tom right
guy.
there. Yeah.
It's just a lot of these people I don't know who the fuck they are because I don't watch a lot of these other shows.
Yeah.
Um, all right, this is really not great, and I feel like I can't go to a different page and bring up the people because I don't want the reveal. I don't want to know who wins it all yet.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I guess let's just talk about the show in
Yeah.
general.
Do you like it so far?
So yeah, when we first turned it on, I was like, like it just kind of was like, I just wasn't sure. Like I know the concept. We've talked about the game, that it's is based on and all that. I like the idea. We turned it on and by the second episode I was hooked. I would say I wasn't necessarily hooked in the first one, but by the second I was hooked. I did find it interesting how scared everybody is of Boston Rob.
Yeah.
And I have no idea who this guy is. Apparently, he's won other shows or shit like that.
Oh
But
yeah. He's a big time fucking celebrity reality TV guy.
yeah, so and I don't know who this guy is even. Um, so for me, I knew Nikki Bella, I knew
Hmm.
Tom Sandoval, um, I knew of Britney Spears' ex.
Yeah.
I had
Sam.
seen the guy, let's see if they like. I had no idea who that chick was. Um, let's see if I can. I had heard of Fergus. I remember her, Trishelle,
Okay.
from something. I don't even know if it was the original. What was she from?
I don't know.
I forget what show she was on, but anyways, and then none of the housewives that I know. Um, I like I knew like maybe three or four people basically. The
Okay.
rest I had no clue who these people were. Anyways, the I I it really, man, the way they edit the show, it like like I noticed while we're sitting there, we're like fucking yelling at the TV and like I think it's funny like when you get they do the sit down with the um here I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. But when they do the sit down, it like the little interview intercuts that they do
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, so let's say I'm one of them like Dave has to be a traitor. And like you as an audience member know for sure Dave is not a traitor.
Yeah.
But you got this like I think it was Gabby. She's like one of the dumbest people on this fucking show. And and she's like, I know for sure Bob the drag queen is not a traitor. He
Yeah.
couldn't be. And it's like you're sitting there like you are so fucking stupid. Like, but then she does this with everything so far, and it's only been four episodes. She's just like the biggest moron, and it's funny because I sit there and I'm like, it's just. But
They,
I try to put myself in their shoes,
yeah.
so I'm really curious how they actually film and edit this show because they make it seem like every day they wake up, eat breakfast, they find out who was murdered, then they go do a challenge, and then they trying to remember. Then they go that evening or they have lots of like little discussions in the house or whatever.
Right.
And then that night the traders meet up and
Well,
um
no, they do the banishment
they,
first.
they do the banishment and then after that so when they're at the round table and it's interesting even on the first episode how like offended people get if somebody like just out of nowhere we're just sitting there and Dave's like yeah I think like they're just I'm getting weird vibes off of you so I think you might be a traitor and then me will be like how dare you it's like you're this is a game. So somebody's got to fucking say a name. Like you can't
Right.
all just be like, we're all just friends, you know?
Right.
Like what was the Bambies or whatever
Yeah,
that
the Bambies. Yeah.
group they formed? It's like it, it's so and then when in the oh they had just voted Nikki Bella off at
Okay.
the end of episode 4, I think, and everybody is so for sure because I think one of these chicks, the fucking, I think it's that Trishelle or something like that. One of them was like, it was part of the Bambi group, and she's like, yeah, after Bob the drag queen got voted or got exposed or voted off or whatever, your demeanor changed and yada yada, and convinced everybody basically.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me when then she goes up there and she's like, yeah, I'm faithful, and it's like everybody's like, you know, all the girls start crying, and the like everybody, I go, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, you guys are all gonna feel like the biggest assholes in about 30 seconds, and then
Yeah.
she reveals, and then they all feel like assholes,
Hmm.
but they were so fucking excited when they got Bob the drag queen, and
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting, and I get this impression that Boston Rob, he's like a fucking shark, this dude.
He
He's
is.
just like, hmm, who do I want to boot off today? Because he's got enough fucking, like, it's so weird how this
Yeah,
dude
so
comes
much
in with like
pull.
superpowers or something. It's so
Yeah.
weird to me. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. But why does he hold so much power over?
Because he's won. I think he's won Survivor like 2 or 3 times or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And
He's the one.
how though? Because everybody knows he's like a fucking shark. Wouldn't you just get rid of him automatically?
You would think. Yeah.
Like this dude just knows how to fucking play the games or
He's a
whatever.
gamer. Yeah. They call him. He's a gamer, man. He knows.
It's so interesting. Um,
Yeah.
so
When you finish that episode or you finish that season, go back to the first two just to get them done.
yeah,
We just started Traitors Australia because Joy's going through.
I saw Joy's post.
She's going through withdrawal, and there's a guy on there that you're gonna fucking go ballistic over because he is. Oh, I'm 100% sure this person's a fucking traitor. I'm 100% sure I got his blinders are focused on her, and she's not. And he doesn't give a shit what everybody else says. He creates so much chaos about her when it has nothing to do with anything. And I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, it's smart that the traitors leave him because he's just gonna fucking kill himself. But it's just so fucking. It's so funny because the teams get so or the people get so mad at him. And he's a weird dude. He looks like Uncle Fester with a little bit of hair, but no eyebrows. And
Okay.
he's and that dude, this show's good. Like I love the whole concept is amazing, and I'm so glad that there are other like countries to watch more
Yeah.
because I'm waiting for the original American version to come back on season 4. But yeah, the Australia version, season 1 so far is what we're on. I think we're on episode like 9 or 10. But oh my god, dude, it's so good.
So how do you think they actually in real life or like real time film it? Because there's no way they're doing just each day by itself. It would take forever.
No, I think it's done in weeks because the one guy in at least in the Australian version, every time he says, "Yeah, well, we do this, and then next week this person gets voted off, and then next week this person does," unless he's talking specifically on release next week because they get released episode wise. But I don't know. It's
Okay,
got to
so
be
let's go
done.
with how they show it. You wake up in the morning, you go have breakfast, you go do your challenge, you come back, you do a little bit of intermingling, and then that night. So you're basically saying this will go for every single day for however long.
Yeah,
We know from how they filmed The Circle, and remember we asked questions in those interviews a long
yeah,
time ago, and we got pushback because they can't answer questions of how it's filmed because it's edited in a way to make it. And we know The Circle's filmed over the course of like 2 weeks,
yep.
and it's made to appear as though this is fucking months.
Hmm.
Right? Because they've just been in this room by themselves for so long, and their only interactions with these people and all this shit. And you come to find out that they're bringing them food, and
Right.
there's interaction with other people and all this other stuff, but it's really only like for like 2 weeks. and it's a lot of shit in 2 weeks. I get the same impression with this thing. I feel like they're doing multiple challenges in a day. What I don't understand or know, I can't figure out is if that's the case, how do you eliminate certain people for the next day's challenge that got booted that night if you're doing multiple in a day, which you couldn't, because how would you know? So unless you're doing multiple um, breakfast scenes in a day, multiple challenge scenes in a day, and multiple murder scenes and roundtables in a day, it'd be the only way you could do, like if from 6 a.m. to noon, we're going to go through the whole gambit of a day. And then from noon to 10 p.m. that night, we're doing a whole nother day. So we're going to do two challenges a day, two breakfast scenes a day, and then two roundtables a day plus murder. You know what I mean? But then we'll just film the the night shots. I don't know. Or maybe they are literally doing one thing a day, but it seems like,
I
well, this is going to take like a
a
month and
month.
a half to film.
Yeah.
And I don't think they do that. Maybe they do, but I don't know.
I think they do just because like they're all celebrity stars, like or reality TV stars. They're not doing a day job. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think they are doing it in however long it takes. Like they
But
are just
then
doing
what
it one
else are you doing all day? So you wake up, let's say that breakfast is at 9 a.m.
day. Mhm.
That's till 10:30, something like that. Then by noon, they're out doing their challenge because they all got to get in the Range Rovers and drive to wherever they're going.
Right,
They
right.
do their challenge till 2. They come back by 4. They got to be intermingling around, trying to sway whatever. And then at 6, they'd have the round table. And then at 9 p.m., they do the traders meet up and decide who they're going to murder. I guess you could do it all in one day, and
Yeah,
you could
because
just have meals and
obviously they're
shit
having
in between.
lunch at one point. That's not big. That's never videotaped.
Right.
Every once in a while you'll see food and they'll just kind of come up and snack on something, but and then of course they've got dinner. Those things aren't being taped. Um, I think there's mingling between breakfast and the excursion that they cut out. Unless there's like a really good conversation, they're cutting it out and it just goes right to the thing. I think it is just filmed day to day,
Yeah, maybe it is.
because
Um,
otherwise they wouldn't be able to do the shock factor
right.
when someone gets murdered. You know
That's
what I
why I
mean?
was trying to figure that part out. Like, how are they filming this? So maybe it is one thing per day. And
Mm.
then the other thing I want to know is like Nikki said, "Oh, I get to go see my son now, but I'm a faithful." You know what I mean? Like when she was leaving. So then I was thinking, so wait, there's literally no possibility because these reality shows that always seem to like work back in people that have been voted off later on.
Yeah, yeah, no,
They
there's
do it with the circle, they do it with these other things, these other shows too. Not that I've seen a ton of them, but it seems like they always do. And I wonder if they literally get to go home or if they're like keeping them in a hotel so that, because you get people like TMZ and all that to like find out. And if
Mhm.
you just started production of the Traitors and say Nikki Bella is involved, but 2 days after they start filming, now she's back at home with her kid, she didn't make it very long. So would they not just keep her in a hotel secluded for another 3 weeks while they finish filming the whole thing
It could be,
so
and
that
maybe
people
she's got
don't
her kid
know?
there.
You
Maybe
know,
she's got her kid at the hotel,
that's what I was thinking. Maybe they would bring the
the family along and
family
shit.
there and all that, like at a secluded. And that's the other thing. Are they actually sleeping at that castle, or do they rush them
I
off
would
to a
assume.
hotel somewhere?
I would
And then,
assume.
because how then do you remove the traitors so that nobody knows? I get it, they walk around with their hoods, but let's be honest. You could tell Bob the drag queen when he's fucking 8 feet taller than every other person there. You would know it was him if you had stepped out into the hallway when the traders are supposed to be doing their thing. or are they locking these people in their rooms?
Well, I'm assuming they're either A, locking them in their room, or literally having each one has to be in a different room secluded, so there's no one else there. Like maybe there's a barn. They can all go, there's like nine different, rooms and barns, and they can just go in the barn. They get blindfolded, just kind of like a Masked Singer. They're blindfolded, led somewhere, so they have no idea who's there, who's not there, and they're taken back to their room, and that way you don't hear like the neighbor's door open because they snuck
Right.
out.
Yeah.
There's got to
I,
be something to that effect.
I know those logistics most people don't care about, but that's the kind of shit that
Yeah,
I like to know.
that's the kind of
How
shit
do
I
they
think.
do this where you can make sure if I'm a trader, but I've got a room right next door to Dylan Efron, how do I get out of my room without him hearing my door? Because that would be a clear fucking indicator. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I don't think these people truly don't know who the fuck the traders are. I mean, you can tell because it gets pretty intense, and none of these people are actors.
right.
You know what I mean? And
I don't think they know. There's no way they would
there
have.
has
Otherwise,
to, that's why I want to know where do they put them? Like, where are they putting them? Is it far enough away from each other that you would never know that your neighbor's door opened? Do they
those
like,
man,
so
they
you
have
know how
to
you
have.
have that little sound thing that sits outside your door when you have
Yeah,
session? I wonder if they do that outside everybody's room so you would never hear anything outside that room because
yeah.
you've got this
Or like I
noise.
said, they have them all blindfolded. They bring them all down to the living room. Everyone's in the living room, blindfolded and headphones, so they can't hear anything. And they're all just sitting there. And then the traders do their thing. And then when the traders are back in their room, they get escorted back to the room. Who knows?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's obviously they do it.
Yeah.
There's a way. There's
I
a
just
way that
want
they.
to know. I just want to know the way they
Oh,
do it.
I'll work on trying to get a hold of somebody from one of the shows and see if I
Yeah.
can get some answers.
See if you can get Boston Rob. I want to talk to him.
All right.
And I like at this point, okay, so 4 episodes in. At this point, it's heating up. It sounds like that Danielle is pissed that Boston Rob got rid of Bob the drag queen because
Yep.
that was her ride or die. And then you've got the blonde chick who's now found out that Danielle wants her booted. So
Mhm.
like it seems like you almost got more infighting with the traitors than you do the faithfuls. And the
And
only
that's
one that seems to really kind of be getting it is Dylan Efron. Everybody he's like honing in on, he's figuring shit out. It seems
yeah.
like this is early though. I
Of
know there's a
all of
lot
the
more.
seasons that I've watched, other than Australia, this is the first time things got so heated between the traders. It's never gotten that heated before.
Really.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious how this progresses because it seems like Danielle's like she's like I got to get rid of who's the blonde traitor? I don't remember her name.
Carolyn.
Yeah, she's like I got to get rid of her, so, which is interesting because then it's just going to be her and Rob and like bitch, you think you're gonna? To me, the way I perceive this Rob guy is like you ain't gonna beat him. Like, why would you want to get rid of the blonde chick? Although it's an interesting, I try to figure out their theories and how each person they're thinking, and like like I said, you get this like the Gabby girl, like she's literally so close to like when they had the traders had to meet in the secret room
Hmm.
and she's like walking and she goes in the room, oh, nobody's in here, and then kind of walks away, but then hears Danielle's voice, but does not put two and two together. And it's like,
Yeah.
you are so fucking stupid. And then in the next thing, she's like, I'm almost positive that the trader's like, and then to be somebody that's not even like, Tom Sandoval's the trader. There's no way it's Bob the drag queen. It's like,
Right.
how fucking stupid are you? It's
Yeah.
incredible. Uh,
Well, it's interesting because at the end of the show, each season, at the end of the show, it gets down to I think the final four, and they decide if they want to keep going or not. And if they say we're done, and there's still a trader left, the trader gets all the money.
Mm.
If they have no traders and they've gotten all the traders out, then they split the money equally.
Okay, so the game can continue. Let's say the first three they were able to find all the traders like early on, but
Mhm.
nobody knows how many traders there actually is, right?
Right.
So you could literally be playing the game for weeks and not have a single trader in there, but you all think there is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Has it
Well,
ever happened?
that,
Without
no.
telling
So
me. Okay.
what happens is when the traders get down to a certain number, they have the option to recruit.
Oh, they
So
can recruit. Okay.
so instead of a murder, they send, let's say you're faithful. It's me and one other person. We have the option. I was like, well, I think I can control Ryan. Let's get Ryan. So you get a note that says, hey, meet me down in you have to go down to the dungeon tonight, and you get there, and then you get in the dungeon. You get a letter that says you either recruit and become a traitor or you're murdered tonight. Those are your options. What are you going to do? You're going to say, fuck it, I'm not going to be a traitor and get killed, or fuck it, I'll be a traitor. And then you get recruited, and now there's three traitors. And
Yeah.
because you got recruited, then you get to automatically, instantly become a traitor, and you guys decide who to kill. So basically, what happens is they lose a faithful, and faithful gets murdered in one night.
Wow.
So I've never seen it to the fact that there's never been a traitor. There's always been at least one.
At least one. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I'm obviously I'm gonna watch more this week and probably get another
There
uh
is a season that at the very end, a traitor is left at the very end, which means they get all the money and the other person gets nothing.
so of the three seasons you've seen, it's been two faithfuls and a traitor that have won, or is it a group? Like, is only one traitor won the show ever of the three
Um, I,
seasons?
I don't remember who won the one of the seasons,
Okay.
but the one season that I'm thinking of specifically, it was down to two people,
Okay.
a faithful and a traitor, and the faithful believe that they both were faithfuls.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And the faithful found out that he was sitting next to
It'd be interesting to get down to two traitors. Well, that wouldn't work though. You'd always got to have at least a faithful, right? You got to have a couple faithfuls always there because,
No. If there was if there was three, you get down to the bottom four, okay,
and they keep playing.
and then they keep playing, which means they have to banish someone,
And let's
right
say
then.
there's two traitors left.
Yep. So let's see. There's
You
me and
murder
Chris are
one.
traders. Me and you are traders, and then there's we'll say Lala and Joy. Okay.
Okay.
So Lala votes for you. Joy votes for me. You vote for Joy. I vote for Joy. Joy gets out.
Right.
Now there's three left. Lala thinks that we're all faithfuls. She throws the thing down, and
Then it's revealed that,
then you and I decide that we want to vote one more person out. So you and I put because you got a green or a red. Green means you're done. Red means you got another banishment. So if one of us throw in that, and then we come up and Lala's like, all right, well I'm gonna vote Ryan again because I think Ryan's a traitor. And then you're like, well I'm voting for Lala. And I'm like, all right, then I'm voting for Lala too. And we get Lala out. Then it's just you and I.
yeah.
So
So
I mean
then,
that's
then we
okay.
would split the money.
Yeah, if it was just me, you, and Lala, you and I would still split the money, and Lala would get nothing.
Yeah.
Or it'd be really funny if it was the four of us and we all decide we're done, and Joy and Lala get nothing, and you and I split it.
Which probably would, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Which
let's see
is funny
if that's
because
the thing though. If you when you get down to the final four, what are the odds that you have gotten all your traders out though? You know what I mean?
yeah, and because well, especially in
So
the
like,
season
why
you're
would you
watching,
enter the game? Because I feel like the traders always have the advantage.
the
Because
traders do. But
you
like the
know,
season you're watching now, I want to say it's the last person that gets banished doesn't say if they're a traitor or not.
no,
They just say, "All right, you're banished. See you later," and they leave. So
I thought
the
they had to
follow,
reveal.
what's that?
I thought they had to reveal.
They do, except for that specific one. Alan's like, "I'm not gonna. The last one's not gonna tell you, so you don't know." So when
Okay.
it comes down to the final group, whether it's four, five, six, or seven, or eight,
Yeah.
they have to decide, do I think all of us are traitors or all of us are faithfuls or what we, and then I'm not going to spoil it, but then you decide to either banish or call the game and hope for the best.
All right. So I'm 4 episodes in. It says there's 12
There's 12.
episodes, it
There's
looks like,
12,
in
yeah.
the season. So
You
I'll,
got a ways to go. Got a lot of fireworks coming your way.
yeah, it's interesting.
Have they done the clown one yet? The clown challenge?
They did the fun house where the clowns would eat. They had different levels of
Yeah.
the fun
You get
house they had to
stabbed.
do. Well, the one dude, I mean, and I don't know. I guess that's the other thing. I almost want to do like talk after each episode so I can discuss the episode because it's kind of hard to remember a bunch of shit from 4 episodes. But when they were going through that fun house, and all right, you have to describe the door. All right, everybody, from left to right, one, two, three,
Yeah.
and four. Why is
That's what
that
I
so
fucking
fucking
said.
difficult? I
That's what I
literally
said.
screaming at the TV. Like,
Yeah. You're like, okay, so it's got circles and lines. They all have fucking circles and lines.
yeah,
It's literally one, two, three, four.
it
How
makes
hard
me
is it?
think that they told them you can't say left to right, one, two, three, four. Like the producers told them that's too easy.
Yeah,
You can't
maybe.
do that. You have to talk about what's on the door or on the wall to indicate.
Maybe.
They had to because either that or these are the dumbest fucking people on the planet.
Yeah. And there's a very similar challenge in the Australia one, and they literally just did one, two, three from left to right. They didn't
Yeah.
even
Well, it
so
makes
I
it so
don't
much easier. Then
yeah,
all you got to remember is, all right, it's one, one, four, and three. Okay, got it. Like,
right.
like then they would have made money. Instead, the dumb fucks, the what was it, the workout guy and whoever he was with, they literally picked a door that had already been picked, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, like
And not only that, but look where the glitter on the floor is.
that's the other thing. I told my wife, I was like, you can see in front of door four, there's glitter. Door three, there's glitter. Door one, there's glitter. There's none in front of two.
Yeah,
Well, let's go ahead
exactly.
and pick three. It's like, how stupid
Yeah.
can you be? But then again, I try to put myself in their shoes. Like, you're not necessarily thinking about all those things. They're not being logical about because, well, like Tom, everything's fucking like he's acting like he's in the show Clue.
Yeah.
You know,
Have you
and
have you got to the part where he sings yet?
no,
Okay. Yeah, his
that
singing
hasn't
debut
happened
comes up.
yet.
His
Huh?
singing debut comes up soon.
Well,
You'll like that.
I've seen him live in concert.
Have you really?
Yeah. Uh, it was in McHenry, Illinois. He was playing at a little venue there. And this would have been like last May or
Okay.
whatever. He was on tour. And because we watch the fuck show is he on? Uh Vanderpump Rules. We watch that show. So I know him from that show. He's one of the few on this show that I know. And so like when we found out he was touring with his band or whatever, we're like, yeah, let's go see him. So we went there and saw him, and he's not a great singer, but his
Okay.
band is fucking phenomenal. Like his actual real life touring band,
Yeah.
like if you put like a really really good singer in front of that band, you could have something. You know what I mean? Like he's got the full horn section, like the whole thing. He's more or less like a karaoke singer, kind of
I wouldn't. Okay, so when you
in the
take
show that I saw.
everything, take everything you know about his music career and throw that out the window. I didn't know he had a music career, and I'm like, why is he the one singing? Like, what the fuck? He was so bad, dude. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Yeah,
Way off key. Dude was bad,
yeah,
so bad. Granted, he didn't get a lot of information of what he was supposed to sing, but it was not good. It's funny to me. It was funny.
yeah, yeah. No, he always looks like he's confused
He
and
looks like he to me he's like so Steve or not Steve Shannon. Shannon Brown is the um great value Down syndrome version of Vince Vaughn, right?
yeah,
I think Tom Sandoval is the great value watered down Down syndrome version of Johnny Depp.
okay,
It's
Yeah,
every time
I
I
could
saw him,
see
that's what I
that.
thought of. Like old school Johnny Depp back in the day. Every time I see him, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
It cracks me up.
definitely after the show, after you watch the show, watch the reunion show too, because those are fun.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do they do like a where they bring everybody back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
discuss it all? Do those get heated or no?
yes, a little bit. Not out of hand, but yeah,
Not
and it
like the
does.
Real Housewives reunion shows or the Vanderpump reunion shows.
I
Those
don't
get
watch
fucking
those.
those get super heated where they're like they have to like break up fights, like
Oh
physical
yeah,
fights and shit. So
no, it's not that bad, and it's not Alan that hosts it. It's some fucking random dude.
from Bravo,
Yes.
the dude from Bravo that
Yeah.
does all the reunion shows.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
Well,
guy. He's a Cardinals fan. The
is
only
he?
reason I like him. But
All right.
anyways, all right. So I think that's yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So we'll probably be doing as I watch episodes, we'll cover it each week,
Yeah.
do a little bit more. I doubt I'll make it all the way through, but if I do, then the next episode we'll spoil it and
Mhm.
reveal because to be fair, it's already been out. And then
Yeah.
I'll start watching season 1 and 2, and then probably I'll venture over to Australia. And we'll just keep kind of talking about that until
Yeah.
we've
I really
exhausted
like it.
all the Trader shows. But
Yeah.
so
We haven't
far,
watched all of them. We tried watching the UK, but they're so hard to understand. We're like, nah, fuck it.
yeah,
So, but I did see that they did just release a New Zealand season. So maybe
okay,
because there's two Australia, so we'll do both Australias, and then we'll probably jump to New Zealand afterwards.
nice.
She's hooked. She's like, every day since the ending, she's like, we don't have Traitors. What are we gonna watch? And we're caught up on all the other shit that we watched. And I was like, well, we can try a different Traitors. And she's like, I don't know, we'll see. After the first episode, she's like, yep, okay, let's go. Let's watch another one. So,
It is definitely one of those shows where like we usually get two in a day,
mhm.
and I'm like, all right, one more, and my wife's like, no, and I'm like this is it's such it's so addicting. It's at one point I contemplated calling into work the next day so I could just stay home and watch it all day. Like and I hate when a show does that, but it's because you're like they how they fucking edit it. So like they edit it on something that's
Such
like,
a cliffhanger,
oh
yeah.
shit, like and you're just like, how what's gonna happen with that or some twist or something.
And that's the thing with the Australia one is they leave it that you don't know who they're going to kill. It always leaves right at that spot
Yeah,
where you're like, they talk about it, and they're like,
yeah,
yeah, we're gonna do that, and then it's like that's it. It's like fuck. So then you have to watch the next episode to watch the breakfast to see who gets killed.
yeah.
You know.
Well,
But
like
yeah,
this one, they've had a well now that the Boston Rob's part of the Traders, it seems they disagree on everybody. It seems like, and then they were both so pissed at him for getting rid of Bob the drag queen, and but like they were pissed, but then when they're there with him, they're like like they didn't want to show that they were pissed at him. You know what I mean? Because like this dude's like a fucking shark, and it's like makes me wonder like because like I don't know, it's very interesting. So I'm and then yeah, those roundtables get pretty intense. And
yeah, they do.
the only other thing, and now we're like going way over our time, but I wanted to talk about so the actual game that this is kind of based on, right?
Mhm.
Like I forget what the game's called, but you,
Werewolf.
yeah. So how do you play the actual game? Do you like you have to have like what 12 people or something minimum to play this
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
And then how do you do so like in the actual game, if we were going to play it, we get say 12 people together. How do you pick who the traitor is or
So you,
traitors? And then
if
how do
if
you
it,
then
it's a deck of
go?
cards,
Okay.
and you hand out all the cards,
So your
and you all
card
look
might
at
say
it.
traitor. Okay.
Yeah, it'll say werewolf, but yeah.
Or
And then
werewolf.
so what it is it's village people and werewolf. Sometimes they have an oracle. There's depending on how many people you have, you can put these extra parts and stuff. But so let's just say we're just doing the bare minimum. It's werewolves and fucking village people. So I say, all right, nighttime. Everybody closes their eyes, and at that point, because there's always one host basically, and they say, "All
Mhm.
right, werewolves, who do you want to kill?" And the werewolves will open their eyes and they'll point at someone, and once they all have to agree, once they agree, they give a thumbs up. They close your eyes, and they say, "All right, open your eyes, daytime." Or opens their eyes and looks at, "All right, well, werewolves have killed Bob." And they're like, "Shit, all right, all right." And then the village people say, "All right, well, who do you think is a werewolf?" And then they go, "Okay, well, I think,
So it goes right into round table, basically.
yeah, yeah, it's basically just round table
And
and
then they
murder."
vote somebody off,
Yep.
thinking, and then
Yeah.
if it's a village or a werewolf, depending on whatever, and then okay, so it's just I was trying to figure out logistically how you do the actual game
Yeah.
in a
That's the game.
shortish period of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to look at the game again, but I know like the Oracle, I believe, um, can I think he could the Oracle before the werewolves kill, the Oracle can open their eyes first and point to someone, and the host can say yes or no whether they're a werewolf, if I remember correctly. And then they close their eyes and then they get killed. But I believe the werewolves do not like nobody knows who the Oracle is either, So there's a lot of different moving parts, and there's other things too. I think there's a witch doctor that can bring somebody back, but they have to sacrifice someone else or something. I don't remember exactly all the extra pieces, but
Yeah.
we've always played basically the Oracle, the werewolves, and the village, and that's it.
Gotta have a lot of trust there that people are going to keep their eyes closed
Yeah,
because, like, it'd be easier with blindfolds.
right.
But, anyways, I would like to play this game at some point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but I don't know how I would ever find a group big enough to actually play it. So,
just do it at work one day. Be like, hey, everybody, we're having a meeting.
yeah, everybody close your eyes, and then I point at somebody.
Team building exercise.
Yeah, we're gonna play the real life game of Traitors,
Yeah,
Traitors and Faithfuls. So, um, or werewolves and village people.
yeah,
All right. I think that's it
yeah. That'll work.
for this episode. Let's go through social medias real quick.
Yeah,
Uh, if you want to email us, email Dave, dear Dave, question or anything at all. Guys who still high number 5 at gmail.com. Send that right on over. Then you can do Patreon. You can go there and subscribe and get all of our bonus content. Um, we released the episodes early, and you get bonus content every week. It's $5 a month. And yeah, you get that. It's patreon.com/guys who still high five, all spelled out. Go to YouTube. You can watch the this episode or listen to this episode for free there, but it comes out later than it does if you just went over to Patreon. So if you want it sooner, go to Patreon. Otherwise, YouTube uh, .com/@ symbol guys who still high five, all spelled out. Follow us on Instagram, guys who still high number 5. TikTok, guys who still high five, all spelled out. And then on X, you can follow us at guys still high number 5.
awesome.
There's your plugs. And yeah, next episode we'll have a Traitors update,
Nice.
and hopefully we'll have some more JFK stuff. So
Should yeah.
if there's anything else that's like, wow, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think that'll do it. So, till next time, right? Right on.